Okay, so we're going to continue where we left off, but apparently when I was messing around with it, I must have saved this file when I didn't intend to. So let's go ahead and just reset the router. So enable, write, erase, and it's saying, do you want to erase all your, oh, you can't see all of this. It's going to say, do you want to erase all your configuration files? We're going to confirm that. And then we're going to do reload and confirm that. And now it's decompressing and it's loading up the default. And you should notice, I'm going to close this while that goes on, that both this went down and that went down. So we're going to have to bring them both back up. Let's do the same for router 1. Go to command line interface, enable, write, erase, confirm, and then reload, confirm, and now it's going to reinstall the default configuration. You might not need to do this, but this is just a clean start for the rest of this video. You want to enter the initial configuration? No. And boom, here we are. So these are the steps to configure a router to, actually, you know what, let me go back to router 0. Boom. Let's click on router 0. And again, it asks me, do you want to enter the initial configuration? No. Let's go ahead and set up all of the IPv6 at once. So we're going to do enable, configure terminal, then we're going to do IPv6 Unicast routing. You have to turn that on in order for it to route to individual IPv6 addresses. By default, it only routes to multicast addresses. And let's go ahead and go into our first interface, gigabit 00. So now we're configuring that interface. We have to enable IPv, well, first let's turn it on, no shutdown. And, oh, I misspelled it. No shutdown. And now we see the arrow turn green and it goes up right away because this is connected to a switch. When we turn on gigabit interface 01, that's not going to turn on because we have to go over to the other side and turn that on. All right, let's go ahead and set our IPv6 address. And remember, you can always do question mark to see what your options are. So we have to specify the IPv6 address and then slash and then the prefix. So this one was 2000:1/64. Right, so that address is now set. And now we're going to do IPv6. Now what we want to do, and again, let's use question marks to see our options. We want to turn on RIP. So let's put in RIP. And then we have to give it some name for the database. We're just going to use for both of them net1. Even though, net1, oh, and then I have to say that I am enabling it. So now that network, the 2000:1 network, is part of RIP. So this router 0, will advertise that to router 1. Now we have to go back to the terminal so that we can configure the other interface. So we'll do exit, configure, oh, no, interface, gigabit 0/1. Now we'll do no shutdown. And you'll notice the arrow did not turn green because the other side is still shut down. But we can do IPv6 enable, turn that on, set an IPv6 address. And this one, if I recall, was 2003:1/64. And then IPv6 RIP net1 enable. And it did not grumble at us when we did that, so we know that everything is correct. And I'm going to go ahead and do end and go back to our privilege mode. Now let's try ping right now we should be able to reach PC 0. And we can reach PC 0. And we can reach ourselves. And we can reach ourselves on... Oh. So we cannot reach ourselves on the link from router 0 to router 1, but that's okay. I think that's because it's still shut down because router 1 is not on. So let's go to router 1 and configure that. Same thing as before. Enable and config terminal. IPv6 Unicast routing. Now let's configure our interfaces. Let me go over here. Let's see if we can, yeah, there we go. Let's go ahead and turn on gigabit 00 first. And no shutdown. So we see it comes up. So let's do IPv6 enable, IPv6 address, and this one was 2002 number 1 because this is a gateway /64, and then we have to turn on RIP IPv6 RIP net1 enable, and boom, IPv6 is running on that interface. So let's go back here. Let's look at the next interface, the 01. So now I'm going to no shutdown that. And we see that arrow turns green and then points up. And let's go ahead and enable IPv6. Let's set an address, IPv6 address, and this was 2000:3, and because the other one is 1, this one has to be 2/64. And let's add this to RIP, IPv6 RIP net1 enable. Boom, done. So let's do exit. Oh, let's do end to go back to the privileged mode. So let's see what we can ping now. Right. All right, so let's go ahead and try pinging. So let's try ping 2000:. So we're going to ping our own. Oh, you know what? That went down. Let me just do. So we can see that our gateway connection is down. Let's do config terminal interface gigabit 0/0 no shutdown, and we see it comes back up. So let's do end to go back to a privilege mode. So let's try ping 2000:2:1. So we're pinging ourselves. We get a success rate. Let's try pinging PC1. It's interesting. So we're not connecting to PC1 there. Let me go ahead and click on PC1. Maybe something got hosed up. If I go to desktop and I go to IP configuration, 2002:2. Let's go to desktop. Let's go to command prompt. So let's try ping 2002:2 or ping ourselves. We can ping ourselves. And let's try 1. Okay, so I think it was just a time issue. Let's go back to router 1. Because I typed that right? Okay, yeah, so it just took a minute for that to come up. Okay, so let's ping ourselves on the other side. Ping 2000:3:2. That's ourselves on the connection to router 0. And because we're pinging ourselves, that works. Let's ping router 0. That works. Let's ping the other side of router 0, which is the router 0 gateway connection. Oh, that works. Now let's ping PC0, and that works. So we have a fully functioning IPv6 network. A couple of tricks. One, make sure you turn on IPv6 unicasting, and two, make sure that you go into each interface and enable RIP with IPv6. But other than that, pretty straightforward. And as you can see, because we have so many bits available to us, we can make network after network after network without ever having to change that /64 CIDR. So it's actually much simpler to design IP address schemes in IPv6. Hope this makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know.